Welcome back to the deep dive. You've given us a really interesting set of sources this time, all focused on the astrological picture for November 6, 2025, and it's all coming from Tarot by High C. So our goal here is pretty straightforward.
Yep.
Let's quickly pull out the key insights about, well, intensity, transformation, and honesty, especially how they impact relationships and maybe your life direction over the next few weeks.
Yeah, this date, November 6th, it's really packed. It feels significant because you've got these two different astrological things happening at once, kind of reinforcing each other. There's the immediate hit, that Mars sextile Pluto energy, which is like a call to action for today. But then starting today as well, we get Venus moving into Scorpio for the whole month until the 30th. And that sets a longer theme, sort of directs where all that action needs to go, that palm and thread. Both are really asking us to dig deeper, to get beneath the surface of things.
Okay, so let's start with that immediate spike then. Mars sextile Pluto. The source material uses some pretty evocative language here. They call it a passion meets purpose moment, which sounds, well, intense. But sometimes Mars and Pluto together can sound a bit scary, like conflict or power struggles.
That's a totally fair read, especially if they were in a tougher aspect, like a square. But this is a sextile, and that really changes the dynamic. Astrologically, a sextile is about flow, it's opportunity. So Pluto's massive transformative power isn't clashing with Mars' action. It's actually supporting it, almost like providing guardrails. That's why the sources talk about deep, determined energy. It gives you access, kind of controlled access to your deepest urges and desires. So you can use that intensity, your natural intensity, but without it feeling overwhelming or, destructive. It feels channeled.
Right, channeled, not chaotic. So the timing is key then. If you've been putting something off that needs real grit or maybe avoiding a tricky conversation.
This is the moment.
Yeah. The sources say you can accomplish more than normal, like an efficiency boost, but fueled by conviction.
Exactly. Conviction is the word.
And there's also this theme of fighting for a cause or an ideal, using that energy for something bigger.
Yes, that conviction really translates into needing to take action. This isn't subtle energy, it really pushes for decisive moves. And I like that the source gives different examples. It's not just about, say, work ambition. It could be that confrontation you've been dreading, or maybe finally confessing something important, or even, like they say, taking a big risk that aligns with our truth, like leaving a job that feels safe, but soul-destroying.
Okay, let's pause on that big risk idea.
Yeah.
Because that can feel huge for people. The source seems to be saying act on internal conviction, not just because something external is pushing you.
Absolutely. The determination comes from within. It's less like running a frantic race and more like performing precise surgery. You need that intense focus directed right at the core of the issue, whether that's a psychological block, a professional situation, or something in a relationship. This energy gives you the strength to, well, cut away what isn't working anymore.
Okay, so Mars and Pluto give us that focus push, that willpower for today. But where do we point it for the next, 4 weeks? That seems to be where Venus entering Scorpio comes in. That's the bigger strategy, the make it real energy, as the source calls it.
Exactly. Venus in Scorpio really sets the theme for the month. It demands greater depth and honesty in all our relationships. And remember, Venus isn't just about romance. It's also about our values, what we find beautiful, even our resources. So for these 4 weeks, November 6th to 30th, anything superficial just feels off. The sources really emphasize this dissatisfaction with surface-level anything. That could be your job, how you connect intimately, your friendships, even how you handle money. It's a call for substance.
So in relationships specifically, the message is pretty clear. Easygoing flirtations and casual connections won't cut it.
Not this month, no.
It's about building something meaningful, quality over quantity,
Right.
Intimacy, intensity, getting past the shallow stuff.
Precisely.
But, okay, if Venus in Scorpio demands intensity, does the source give any warnings? Like, how do we make sure that's genuine depth and not just, drama?
It mentions potential pitfalls, right? Like possessiveness or jealousy.
It does, and that's the crucial balance beam to walk this month. The metaphor the source uses is really helpful here. It's like relationships get x-rayed. This transit acts like a structural checkup. It shows you the weak spots where things are built on shaky ground or maybe avoidance. It forces truth to the surface. Now, the danger, the possessiveness or jealousy, that comes up when someone sees that truth, gets scared, and tries to control it, instead of just allowing the necessary transformation to happen. Okay. So the X-ray itself is neutral. It just shows what is. But how we react to what's revealed, that's where the Mars-Pluto energy comes in. We need determination, but for honesty, not control.
You've got it. Honesty needs to be paired with, well, maybe patience and a real commitment to rebuild, not just demolish. If a relationship or even a part of your life is based on illusion, Venus in Scorpio will expose that. But the decisive move Mars-Pluto supports might not be ending it. It might be staying put and doing the hard work of rebuilding with difficult truths. It's definitely a cleanup period. It asks us to sit with the discomfort, embrace vulnerability, all for the sake of long-term integrity.
Wow, that sounds
Yeah.
challenging, but also incredibly necessary sometimes. And to make this less abstract, the story scope of the day you shared gives us this really vivid example, Alina and Elias. It shows exactly what happens when this kind of truth-demanding energy kicks in. Alina starts out in a place I think many people can relate to, feeling a bit disconnected. She was good at keeping things light,
Right.
avoiding vulnerability.
Very skilled at it, yeah.
But when these transits hit, the source says she felt her life, her friendships, everything felt hollow, like old shells. That feeling that the foundation is just gone.
That the old structures just don't support who you are now. It's a common feeling when Scorpio energy gets activated. Alina's challenge is really the collective one this month. And then Elias shows up. And he's the catalyst, the perfect mirror in this story. He wasn't playing the surface game. He just reflected back what she was trying to keep hidden.
Yeah, the source describes how he listened, as if her pauses mattered more than her words.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
It really is, and the connection is described as immediate, intense, like she felt his touch, not on her skin, but in her ribs, in her pulse.
Wow.
It's transformation hitting right at the core, physical, emotional.
But opening that door to depth, like you said, it immediately turns into that X-ray. It starts showing every fracture beneath the surface. And the source doesn't sugarcoat it. It talks about his past baggage, the failed marriage, a pattern of leaving, and her own deep fear of being seen. It shows this transit doesn't magically fix things. It just makes them unavoidable, makes them real.
Exactly. Real is the key word. Their love story isn't presented as easy. It's molten, constantly reshaping them. The source notes their arguments burned like fire, exposing all those raw nerves. But then the making up, the reconciliation was just as fierce. And crucially, honest. What held them together wasn't just attraction, it was something deeper. The will to understand, to transform rather than escape. They use that intense Mars-Pluto energy not to run, but to dig in, to do the hard work.
And that struggle leads to what feels like the core takeaway for everyone listening, captured in that quote from Elias. Love isn't about finding someone to fit your image. It's about letting someone see the parts you still don't understand about yourself. That just lands, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Letting someone see the parts you don't even understand yourself, that's radical vulnerability. That's the level of self-acceptance and risk this month is asking for. It implies you have to be willing to learn about yourself through the mirror of an honest connection.
So, bringing it all together, the big message for you, the listener, isn't about achieving some kind of polished perfection this November. It's about embracing the raw depth. Like Alina at the end of the story, the source says she didn't feel fixed. She felt raw, awake, and real. The easy laughter was gone, replaced by something slower, more deliberate maybe, but stronger.
Yeah, so let's synthesize how these two aspects work together. Mars sextile Pluto today gives you that determined push, the energy for the decisive move.
Right, the spark.
And Venus in Scorpio, for the next 4 weeks, tells you where to aim that spark, which is always towards more depth, more honesty, whether that's with other people or just getting honest with yourself about your life path. That final line from the source sums it up perfectly. When the stars call for depth, the only way out is through. No shortcuts this month.
Okay, so this deep dive wraps up here, but really the work starts now for you. We really encourage you, use that determined energy today from Mars and Pluto. Point it towards improving the honesty, the quality of just one relationship or one area of your life over these next 4 weeks of Venus and Scorpio. Don't wait for the push to fade.
And building on that story scope, where love was stripped to its bones and rebuilt with honesty. Here's a final thought to maybe carry with you. Think about that decisive move Mars and Pluto are nudging you towards right now. Can you identify just one area in your life, could be anything, not just romance, where the masks feel ready to come off? What's one small, specific action you could take, maybe even this week, to let that difficult truth start to surface, like smoke, and begin the real rebuilding?
Thank you for sharing these sources with us and for letting us dive beneath the surface today. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.